The Nerd Academy podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
We're back! Welcome everyone back to the #1 Contender podcast, the show where your favorite nerds talk all things movie, trivia, schmodown. I am your host, Jarod the Dark Jedi Bachman Stubbs, and joining me, as always, is your favorite quirky dungeon head, the one, the only, Travis Grossman.
I just noticed the network problem behind you.
Yeah, I made a TikTok earlier, and I wanted to have like the Chromecast plugged in for it. And anytime, because we had to rewire how the internet comes out here, if the Chromecast is on at the same time as we were recording, everything goes batshit crazy. So it's still on the hey, you plugged them into the other thing now screen, which looks bad, but it isn't. It's just vibing. It'll go back to pretty landscapes eventually. Yeah, we are here. We are, technically speaking, now that we know what a Friday Night Titan is, 3 Friday Night Titans in. You know, like much. The season opener was basically episode 0. For Friday Night Titans. You know, it's the same exact format. You know, we just didn't have the name yet. Which kind of brings us to a new little detail with how this show is going to work. I don't know how I feel about Friday Night Titans yet, for our own very selfish purposes. I would throw a virgin in a volcano for Friday Night Titans to be like Thursday Night Titans.
Thursday Night
Titans. That would be so, like, that would just be so perfect. Just slap it on the ass and stick it out. Like, it's too easy. And
yeah,
you know, for those of you at home, any new folks coming around to the Nerd Academy parts, we've had a couple new subscribers after our couple live streams covering the Batman and the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer. The Batman. I work Friday nights, and my 2 closing shifts are the ones that I have the most mixed opinions about, because I close Friday nights and I close Sunday nights. But, you know, being a bartender, Friday nights are kind of my money night, and I really kind of don't want to give that up. But also, it is the most inconvenient night to work doing this kind of stuff. I have had to tell in the past couple weeks several people that I couldn't guest on live streams that I really wanted to be a part of. And now Friday Night Titans is another nail in the coffin of anytime I don't have a very bountiful Friday night, I get virulently fucking angry. Because I'm like, I could have been on this show, that show. I wouldn't be up till 4 a.m. watching the Schmodown to stay caught up to do #1 Contender. So I don't know. We'll sound off. I would love to hear some input. I know, Travis, you and I talked about with the format change, maybe making Contender bi-weekly before. So we're just gonna see how things shake out and what the yams are. I know we will be missing next week. I have some stuff going on. I just realized I didn't get a chance to tell Travis this yet off camera.
How dare you?
Apologize.
I can't.
I know.
Prioritizing your personal life over talking about movie trivia wrestling. I can't believe you. It's not like I did that very thing 12 hours ago.
True. Which is fair. I just also anybody who's new around these parts, we have a nasty habit of making plans while we're recording an episode and just leaving it in the damn show. It's part of the brand. But yeah, so number one contender isn't going anywhere. We might become a bi-weekly thing. I'm not sure yet. We're just gonna, roll with the punches, see how it goes. But that said, Travis, before we jump into actual matches and talk the goings on therein, how are you liking the newest season so far?
It feels like pre-COVID Schmodown. Which is weird. Because we did
it's like they really are living up to the reboot title.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, yes, it's a return. It's a return to some form of normalcy, but by the same token, like it's so brand new. It truly is a reboot done right. And like you were saying, this has so many of the trappings of Yield pre-COVID Schmodown. But like, oh my god, the new set is so beautiful. It is so gorgeous. I want
very nice.
I want to kiss the studio all up and down it. That looks incredible. There is also a bit of a rebranding in the way they announce things. I think is interesting. That it is like you still have like the logo, like the one we have here, in our logo directly above our heads, that says Movie Trivia Schmodown. But like whenever at the beginning of every episode, it's you hear, I think it's Ken's voice go, "It's the Schmodown, the World Championship of Movie Trivia," and it's like these just little tiny things, and I'm very curious to see where they're gonna go. But yeah, I agree with you completely on it does feel like a return to normal. And before we do start talking actual matches, we're going to have a brief word from our sponsors, from the lovely, lovely folks at, let me get the cursor over, sundaysbloodymary.com. You go to sundaysbloodymary.com/shop to get the most badass Bloody Mary accoutrement on the planet. You guys know I'm a big fan of the spicy Caesar mix. They also have a mild mix if the spicy stuff isn't up your alley. They have a vegan mix if you're not a fan of animal product. Rim salt, pickled garnishes like okra, dilly beans, and asparagus. I'm a big fan of the pickled asparagus. I put that in every Bloody Mary I make myself. By the time this is out, it actually may be sold out. But there is a spicy horseradish flavor, which is very limited edition. Like I said, last I saw, they had 3 left. I'm going to hold off. I actually... Just because, in my personal experience, horseradish is my least favorite ingredient in a Bloody Mary. It's something that, when used sparingly, makes a great effect, but if you overdo it, it is very noticeable. For example, I was at Burgatory a week or 2 ago, and I ordered their Bacon Mary. And wow, there was a lot of horseradish in that. I don't know if that's part of like their house recipe, that they go a little cray with the horseradish, because a lot of stuff at Burgatory is they strive for the bold flavors. We had the what's the cheese? What's the cheese? It's not blue cheese. It's the other one that's like blue cheese. I can't remember. They had like a very like strong loaded fry thing going on there too. But anyway, I'm gonna pass on the horseradish one, but I do look forward to see what they have next coming down the pipeline, because I do know they are experimenting with some new flavors. I'm hoping for something very bacon driven. That's gonna be the one you're gonna see me buy like 3 jars of, and put away in a week. But sundaysbloodymary.com/shop. Use code TNAP at checkout. You get 10% off your order. You help out your favorite nerds, and you get the best Bloody Mary equipment on the planet, in my opinion. It's the best shit ever. Travis, our first match of the season. The Wildberries are back. They're playing Video Dolph Drew. I said they should call their team Haunted Doll. That's just me. Drew, I know you follow the Nerd Academy on your socials. I will give you that name for free. I will give you that name for free. Take the name. I think Haunted Doll, cool last name. That was a lot of fun. I had so much fun watching the Wildberries come back. Well, we saw the Wildberries come back, and holy shit, they fucking won.
It was. They won off a wild card. Like,
yeah, that is very true. I gotta find.
Like, they were doing well before round 2, but then they spun a wild card category that was curated to them.
Yeah.
And so, like, it doesn't get more on brand.
It was a gift from the gods. I gotta find a good clip for the wild card. Because, like, it's not as easy as the opponent's choice clip we have here.
You fucking wheel! Fuck you, God!
Yeah, we need a new one. We need a new one. I mean, like, I'm keeping that one for when opponent's choice happens. A, because we love it. B, because it's perfect. And C, Rob Filkins, the number one Contender fan, is also a fan of the Cool Zone Media crowd, and I'm pandering. But yeah, I was just so blown away by it. What was really fun, and like I love when we get to watch the Schmodown with people who aren't each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're my favorite person to watch the movie trivia Schmodown with, forever and always. But good God, is it fun to like sit down with Levi or Lexi or Spencer and Joel for a match, you know? And it doesn't even matter what division, you know, sometimes, because like normally, like I'll watch the Star Wars stuff when like Star Wars tournaments are happening with Spencer and Joel if we're hanging out. And we play along and we have a good old time. But one of the most fun Schmodown watching experiences I've ever had was watching the Andrew Guy Ben Bateman match at Booker T's arena with Spencer, and like having to sit him down and give him a 20-minute recap on plot lines so that the promo would even make sense to him. And then we watched it, and then he watched Andrew Guy get beat up with a chair and all of that craziness. And, you know, Spinner's choice, spins away from Spinner's choice, lands on Spinner's choice, Guy spins opponent's choice, like watching all of this craziness. And Spencer just sitting there slack-jawed. I'm like, this is funny as hell. You know, like you have zero context. And then we got a version of that ourselves with this opening match. You know, you and I, Lexi was with us when we watched it. And she's sitting there, like, and we're like slowly explaining, like, okay, video, like this is the trope video Drew goes in. Okay, that's a dolph. And like, okay, here are the Wildberries. Here's the thing with the Wildberries. Here's the Wildberries whole thing. And this is why they're acting that way. And they're kind of historically, they lose with this kind of thing. Like doing all of the explanation and all of the legwork to like make that entertaining, you know? And then the Wildberries just took it and ran with it, you know? And it was so much fun. Like I had a blast watching a match that in theory would only be entertaining to somebody with all of the deep lore knowledge, right?
It just speaks to the fact that the Wildberries are just fun to watch in general because they're hyper as shit.
Yeah.
And then
I thought Makuba was going to put a fist through that TV out of excitement.
Yep. Because on top of that, we get to go, no. See, they're being even more hyper than usual because they're winning. Which is quite odd.
The Wildberries are going all the way this season.
I would be okay with it.
Huh?
I would be okay with Shazam losing their belts to the Wildberries.
Hey, let me tell you, we'll get there. I am liking another new team this season. I am kind of sort of really into the ruling class.
Yeah.
I'm kind of really into it. I really dig it. I'm sure they could find better management somewhere, but I'm into ruling class. But we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, they went on a tear. They, like you said, they did the wild card slice. It was our first match of the season. First use of the wild card slice on the wheel. Again, it was so specifically meant for the wild berries. So they end up with what was it, like Die Hard ripoffs?
Yeah. Which it's funny, and we'll talk about this later, but it's funny that in every other case that somebody has spun a wild card, it was their first spin and they spun away, which I said when we heard about it was probably like just mathematically the correct move.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, the wild berries are just going to keep it because it's fun and different.
It has their name on it.
Yeah, it just made it that much funnier. But yeah, it just Die Hard ripoffs might be the funniest category that we've seen so far, which makes me excited. I want more wild card slices.
Oh my god, I cannot wait to see what a wild card category looks like in Star Wars.
Genocides.
That shit is what?
Genocides.
Star Wars
Genocides. Of the Jedi Temple. How many younglings did Anakin kill?
Oh my god. Star Wars genocides and which one of the genocidal maniacs you're allowed to sim for. Talking shit because of a previous conversation I was having with Travis. And I bitched about it on Twitter too. I'm still angry about it the more I think about it. But anyway, so moving on to the main event from our opening match, the season. Holy God, he's back. We had Kevin the Smasher Smets go toe-to-toe with Chandru the Chosen Don Depani. And my God, if that is not one of the best matches, one of the best opening matches of the year I have seen. Holy shit.
It's funny because Chandru's been a part of two of them now. Because like Chandru Amaro was really good last season. Like,
yeah, that was. It was incredible.
It was quite the opener. So to see him now just like get to come out of the gate maybe just that's how we open every season now. Chandru has to play a big name. And
was the season opener like Chandru Mara? Was the undercard for that the Laura Kelly Molly Damon match as well?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That is what I thought. Another great match to set the tone for the year last year as well. So for the play-by-play of that match, when Smets missed that question in round one, I think one could feel Travis and I both have our stomachs fall out from under us.
I wasn't
because Chandru was never going to give up ground. I mean, it felt like he was never going to give up ground moving forward. And from that point on, everybody was perfect until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, like it was a sounds and scores and sound. I almost said sound and scores tracks. Sound scores and soundtracks. We did it. We got it. I've worked a full day. Damn it.
I know you have. I know.
It's rough today. It's snowing out in March.
Do you have any of the alcoholic Mountain Dew at work yet?
I have not looked.
I'm buying a lot of that when it's a thing.
I fear for my liver.
We get smashed and do an episode of this show.
God. And then he didn't know who made the One Ring. I don't understand. How do you compete in Interkingdom?
Travis, are you okay? You've only had one non-alcoholic Baja Blast.
And somehow you've attained all the knowledge of the Lord of the Rings, even though you've never watched them. I will say I think it's time. The extended cuts are on HBO Max.
Yeah, I know it's going to be something I have to do soon too.
But yeah, scores and soundtracks. So like reasonable to miss.
Yeah,
you know that it's a more difficult category. And you know I said it too. I had said it last season at the thought of him coming back when he announced he was coming back. I was worried about Kevin not being ready for some of these new categories. And granted, he got like Batman is new, but the questions in it weren't new, and like
Yeah.
not that you know what I mean. Like the idea of getting a Batman category isn't as jarring as like Planet of the Apes.
No, I think you got to mentally prepare to be like, okay, there is like this can go wide and deep.
And in retrospect, I don't know why I was worried because we know how Kaiser trained Mara and Parker, which was
Yeah.
we're gonna hard focus into swashbucklers and some of these newer categories so that you're ready and you can utilize them because they're not going to have as deep of a question pool. So
Yeah, that's true. I do think, and again, I'm glad Smets won his first match back. I think that there was reason to be worried because considering all of the real world shit he had on his shoulders going into this, if you didn't have time to brush up on Hasbro based movies,
yeah,
go back and watch Superman 3 and Superman 4 Quest for Peace. Watch some of the lesser Predator movies.
that's where all my fears went away. Like, because
And then
he got
yeah,
his
he
5
comes out.
pointer, Alien and Predator, and I was like, oh god, it's Alien. He's wearing a Predator hoodie. Why am I scared?
Exactly. Yeah. No, so I do think it makes sense for like him to be like really, really like when I say a fossil, I don't mean like he's like, he's rusty or, is no longer relevant to the game. But like he really was fossilized in 2020. Pre the IG reboot, and overhaul with the questions. So again, like, Hasbro's a part of this now. Like, Swashbuckling Adventure is such a vague designation. What all movies will fall under Swashbuckling Adventure? I mean, they know the answer to those questions. They know all the movies that are on the list. We don't. We don't get to see that list, but still, I think that's really daunting. And I do think that even though Kaiser is very wise to drill the new shit over stuff that you reasonably have a familiarity with. I think it's impressive on Kevin's part that he was able to make the transition so succinctly. We saw last year people who were just making the jump from hey, it's nerd shit and everything you'd think when you hear nerd shit, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Trek, Wizarding World, Rings, whatever. To like it's all fandom franchise stuff. Like the only things missing from the IG wheel at this point, truthfully, are horror and James Bond. At this point, like that's pretty much all that isn't there yet. And whether or not it should be added to IG is a different conversation that we don't have to have today. But
I'd say yes to Bond and no to horror if I had to.
I would have a hard time enjoying it, but I do think the horror should be its own division. Crowd has a good
legs.
point.
Yeah.
That has legs. You could absolutely do a horror division. I would have such a hard time enjoying it because I am so picky with my horror. Now, granted, just like every year I say I'm going to get into football, every year I'm like, I'm going to start Friday the 13th. I'm going to start Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween or whatever. One of those is probably not going to happen, but I'm still scarred. But yeah, I do think Kevin does deserve some high praise for his return. And again, I thought he was dead in the water. I thought we were going to watch Kevin miss one and fight his way through the match and lose out to Chandru by one single question. And Chandru ride that for the rest of the season. And wow, I almost jumped into your arms when Ken pivoted towards Smets. The only thing that stopped me was the fact that I think I would have killed you if I had done it. I literally almost jumped into you. I was so elated, and again, each competitor only missed one question, and it is a very stark indication of what this division is going to look like moving forward. That you had two top tier players by one. Chandru had a very hard 5. You
He had a
know,
really
I
hard
think that,
2.
what was his 2 again?
That was the Harry Potter question. Who gave Slytherin permission to practice on the Quidditch field over Gryffindor and Chamber of Secrets?
I was gonna say, was it that one, or who had the like slow down momentum question? Was that in this match as
That
well?
was also him.
Oh yeah, because he
in-
spun Wizarding World. That's right.
Right, and then I came back to his 2-pointer. That like Wizarding World is a dangerous category now because the questions
Yeah.
they're asking are deep as shit.
Passing lines of dialogue.
Yeah, it's and
No
like
more Crimes of Grindelwald questions.
yeah, thank God. I can enjoy the category. Like it's hard and I don't get them all right, but at least I can enjoy the category again.
Yeah.
Until Secrets of Dumbledore comes out and I have to weather that, which
I'm still on the fence if I'm even going to see that movie right now.
Yep. I mean, I still haven't seen. Not that I want to ever see Crimes of Grindelwald, and I won't see it even if I go to see Secrets of Dumbledore. But
Honestly, I have made you watch worse movies than Crimes of Grindelwald.
valid. I think my thing with that is like I would assume New Mutants.
It's
is
not
worse than
great.
Crimes
I don't want that to sound like a
Yeah.
like a praise of Grindelwald. It's bad, but it's fun. You
of
know,
Grindelwald.
it's
Dark-
fun
Dark
and
Phoenix
dumb.
And New Mutants, right?
Yeah, those were just
I've watched worse
insufferable.
movies. I think I'd get angrier watching Crimes of Grindelwald.
Why is that?
Because I'm a bigger Harry Potter fan than I am an X-Men fan.
Okay.
And so watching, like, knowing the background and what happened in production with Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, I can watch those and I'm like, this is bad, and also had all of this stuff happen in the background that caused this.
Yeah.
Versus watching Crimes of Grindelwald, I watch and I'm like, not only do I dislike J.K. Rowling for, personal belief reasons, she also just refuses to let her things exist and tell its own story. Like she has to
Yeah.
muck it up. But-
J.K. Rowling, I've come to accept the fact that J.K. Rowling is a dark mirror image of George Lucas.
Yeah.
Like George Lucas goes, okay, let me isolate these things that don't work in my story. I am now going to either employ other people to or tell an entirely new story to attempt to engage in a long game unfucking of this thing that doesn't work. J.K. Rowling will randomly go, and Sean, just simply Sean on YouTube, great lefty content creator that I love, did a really funny video kind of being like, hey, I've never read a Harry Potter and I've read them all now. And here are my thoughts. He made a joke about the 2-book delay of you introduce time turners in Azkaban. You have you do Goblet of Fire where there are no time turners, and then the time between Azkaban and Goblet of Fire, people are bitching about the mechanics of time turners and how nobody just goes back and kills Voldemort while he's still in school. So
How
by
do you
the
spell his
time,
name?
I want to say it's I can't even remember. His icon is a little skull. Shawn. I honestly I was so full of terror. I had no idea which way I was going to go. So I just looked it up myself.
It's like an hour and 45-minute video.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if I'd actually, because there was a while where I went on I think it was right around the time J.K. Rowling
Went crazy.
had her big Twitter awakening is what we'll call it. That
when she got fucking pilled.
Yeah. That I saw a bunch of video essays of people, taking her down a peg and also being like, Harry Potter's cool and it's okay if you like it, but please recognize that J.K. Rowling is not that talented of a writer, which is true. I have not seen this video, and I will, because it's 9 days old and not like 2 years old, and I'm gonna watch it as soon as I can because I enjoy.
It's good. He's really good. He's real. Sean, I'm not gonna say Sean bread pilled me. Sean absolutely got me onto BreadTube though. That was an early one for me. But anyhow, back to the Wizarding World trivia. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that they're absolutely trying to really, really, really white knuckle it with some of those questions. And again, Chandra with that 5-pointer, like I cannot talk shit on somebody who cannot, on a whim, even in this setting, recall the supporting cast of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, you're talking about character actors from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. No, that's not obviously, Raiders came out in the 80s, but like the
majority
how
of their
long,
work. Yeah.
Exactly. A lot of those people's back catalog is really is older, and again, like it's save for Harrison Ford and woman who played Marion, God rest her soul, who I can't come up with her name at the moment. The actor, but Mary Ravenwood. Hold on. Now I need to know what the name of the actor was because I feel bad. Karen Allen. Yeah. Like aside from Harrison Ford and Karen Allen, and I couldn't pull Karen Allen right goddamn now. That's a really hard slate to work with. You kind of get like one gimme actor other than Ford per indie movie. Save for Crystal Skull, where you have like Kate Blanchett and Shia LaBeouf and Karen Allen is back as that was a hard one. And Chandru even said, if I'm not mistaken, that Smets made a guess after he got it wrong and also got it wrong.
Yeah, or at least he said he admitted that he didn't know it. Right?
Yeah,
one of the two.
Yeah,
but...
and hey, it wasn't Kevin's problem to get that goddamn question right, but still, like. Wow, is that a toughie? So that was incredible. Incredible first match. A feel-good season opener, if I say so myself. And we would be remiss if we did not bring up the fact that Chandru is under new management. As we knew from the end of last season, he and Winston Marshall had a bit of a falling out that had been in the works for a while, and Chandru was managerless for the beginning of the season. And I think a lot of people, myself included, were not anticipating Chandru to have a manager. I was very much expecting Chandru to be the most dangerous free agent in the game. And as we saw, despite the fact that Roxy was a healing force and helpful person for Smets in his return to the game, Roxy went behind his back and signed one Chandru Dandapani to the Stars, which then resulted in the exit of Janine the Machine. And now Janine, we're kind of jumping all over the place. But let's talk about the Stars for a minute here. We have a faction that is made up of Chandru Dandapani, Alex Damon, Mr. Ethan Irwin, the artist formerly known as Big Time. And that's one hell of a murderer's row. I'm going to see. I don't know if we have any more.
As far as I know, it's just those three.
Yeah. And again, like you can leave things open these days. But that's just it's that's a hell of a team, and it looks like, damn, the Schmodown website scrubbed rosters from last year. I thought it was going to be a continuous thing. Yeah, no, that's a killer lineup, you know, and then again with slots to fill. I'm interested in the fact that the Stars are now a heel faction. You know,
A heel faction full of one normally heel player,
yeah.
right?
Now, you know, Ethan is now a heel, which is interesting. I'm curious, are we going to see a full heel turn for Alex Damon this season?
It makes
You know?
sense. You know, maybe that's where they got the idea of Roxy turning heel. Was her one, you know, she doesn't have Jeff anymore or the Odd Couple as a team, and her you know, her big hitter and Alex Damon has the storyline set up to go off his rocker to get his belt back. I just kicked all my shit. Because I like to spin in my chair. This is nice.
Yeah,
and I just totally
same.
need the shit out of my desk. But yeah, it's like I would not be surprised if they're like, okay, we're gonna watch Alex turn heel to get his belt back. Roxy supports her players so hard that maybe she's following in suit and turning heel, and that's how they got the idea. And then because Chandra needed a manager, because I think he plays character better when he has someone to play off of. Right?
That's true. I can see what you mean there.
Where like he because then he always has someone to betray if that needs
That's
to
true.
happen.
That's true. That's true.
So now he's with Roxy, and then maybe they were already talking to Ethan about picking up Ethan, and they were like, hey, we're going to be a heel faction. Do you want to play a heel for a little bit? That's new for you. And he probably went, yeah, that's cool and different. Sure.
I want to flash back real quick to the preseason when Janine the Machine went on the rundown, and Brad Gilmore was like, come on, I know you know who Roxy's talking to. Roxy's big name that hasn't been announced yet. I know you know who she's talking to. And Brad Gilmore, he was one of the people saying, I think it's going to be a Time Machine reunion. And the way that he was
almost
the way that he was right in the wrong direction is very funny to me, to put it that way. So we have the evil Stars, and I dig it. I dig this lineup. I dig this new faction. I look forward to like out and out heel Alex Damon if that's the direction we go in. And I'll be curious if that's not the direction they go in. Because if you look back last season, you had Winston, I don't want to say make the mistake of, because Chandru and Laura Kelly played very well for Swag. I would go so far as to say that outside of former champion Paulo Yama, Chandru and Laura Kelly were the strongest players on Swag last season. And you had a weird thing where Swag is not a heel faction. It's very much like their vibe is, they're what I would describe as a any means necessary neutral faction. Like you can be a heel in Swag, but like Chandru heel is a bit too far. And lights out Laura Kelly, you know, this marauding force in the Star Wars division, it's a bit too far for heel in Swag. And I'm curious if Alex can, if the not that he can. I have every confidence in his, you know, ability to like play the character. I'm curious if the direction they go with him is that of like how much of a face can you be in a villain faction? Because like at this, because like just for like a slight, you know, difference to make here, like Mike Kalinowski is a heel, Chandra Dandapani is a villain.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, you know, like Bobby Gucci Whitney Seibold, Ty Lieberman, heels right now. Chandru's a fucking villain. Grace Hancock is a villain. You know, like those are people who are not here with like some like noble intention. They are here just kind of to hurt people, and their preferred weapon for some strange reason is movie trivia. At least for the audience to understand like how I kind of delineate the two, and you have like those weird anti-hero factions. So yeah, that was a wild turn of events. Which brings us to last week's. Was it last week's? I'm already forgetting which ones were which. Last week's Friday Night Titans, which was what was the undercard?
Jen Kemp and
that's right.
What's his name? I can't remember his name. I also watched both of these last night at like 4 a.m.
Doug Benson.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that was a good one. Jen Kemp with a big come from behind dub. I kind of had her counted out there for a moment, and I was glad to be wrong. I really thought it was game over for her. And she came through and pulled out the W. The other match, we saw Brendan the Kid Meyer go head to head with, as I made my name around, NFJTE. Kind of going off of the joke Knapsack made. I just want to pull up. I just want to look at JTE's outfit from last week. My God. Hold on.
The glorious tracksuit.
Man. You're gonna. God damn it. Hold on. Talk while I pull this up. Thoughts on the kid VJT?
The kid he's playing well. He's still got it. He did not lose anything over the break, even in singles. I want him to be a singles champion. He doesn't have to be double belted. I just want him to finally get his dues. There we go. Glorious.
The AK-47 chain.
Yeah.
Jacket that looks like unused concept art for Gold Leader.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a sentence that I hate makes sense.
Thank you. I thought it was very apropos. Yeah, no, it was interesting, and I'm very much. Again, the kid pulled it out. Kid pulled out a great win. JTE got a bad run of round 3 questions. I just
realized this is the kid's first season opening singles match where he didn't lose.
Yeah, that's a big deal for your boy. It's a big deal for your boy. It's a sign of the
times. It's a sign of also everyone that has beat him in that opening match is going on to play for a title. So it's his turn. He's getting it this season.
It's gonna be a big nut bust.
Thank you. I agree. I think this is very big news for him. I think he played incredibly. I think this might be the beginning of something big for the kid this season. And I look forward to see him lose to take the belt from Lady Justice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Full faith in her this season. So yeah, again, this is an incredible match. I'm so excited to see the direction the fan favorites go in. It's gonna be something special. Also, like Bibiani said, like this was a classic JTE match. You know, you got the wild ass challenge, the quips, the barbs, the hilarious misspellings. It was a vintage JT. We also saw that he is
my time.
yeah, with all the dark times. We also have JTE's new teammate, a player you're a fan of, Paul Preston. Paul
I'm
Preston
excited. I'm
teaming
very
up with
excited.
with JT under the banner of the fan favorites. So for the fan favorites, again, confirmed roster as of now is JTE, Paul Preston, and Robert Parker. And I'm
I like
curious
this faction.
I'm curious if Adam Witt just signs himself as a player to stay in Star Wars.
That would be the easy option. If he can't get another Star Wars player. And he might want to. He might want to play, which honestly, he's as long as he's still studious, still studying up, he really was putting out a good play last season, right? Like he did really well.
Yeah. Adam Witt has become, in my opinion, the 2020 and back era Janine the Machine of Star Wars.
I knew you were going to say it. Yeah.
There is a level of goddamn you are good, but motherfucker, can you not pull the questions you need at the end?
Yeah.
Like there are just straight up some losses that I feel like aren't his fault. Where it's just like, you know, you had a 1 in a million chance of getting the worst possible thing, and son of a bitch if you didn't end up with the worst possible thing. Which, yeah, it is what it is. It comes with the territory, but I'd be curious if that's the direction he goes there. Speaking of new teams, taking us into this most recent Friday Night Titans, Night A Fight Bitans, we have a new team I love. I love the ruling class. Very few times you'll hear me say that sentence. Or at least you only ever hear me say it in the context of the movie Trivia Schmodown. I love their chemistry. I think, you know, Gucci cultivated a specific type of character. You know, people who also do the luxury douchebag thing. You know, who either luxury douchebag or I am too good to be nowhere else but in the hands of a man who is synonymous with luxury. And that was one thing I was nervous about for the players of the Finstock Exchange come time for the new season. Was, you know, how many of y'all have to like completely come up with a new character?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Ty Lieberman was like, oh, I don't have to come up with a new character. I'm just going to crank it up to 11 and do a little with it and team up with Cybold. That was fucking genius. I love their chemistry. I love them at the table. You know, like Whitney style. I belly laughed whenever Whitney was like, this isn't wine, it's gin. They're one of those. Like, they are really good together. Like, they are very simpatico. And let me tell you, like, they played one match. I'm not going to say that they're championship material yet. We don't know. But boy, howdy, do I want to watch them play Shazam.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, you have the obvious rivalry between Bibbs and Cybold, being former teammates, but there's just like it's almost like ruling class is the anti-Shazam, where it's the same level of camaraderie between them almost, but like they're just so fucking mean, you know, like the first words out of their match when they get to the table, we said no ugly people in the first row. Like, what the shit? I love them. They're going to be such a fun team to watch. Thoughts on the ruling class, Travis?
I was impressed for sure. I could very easily see them, soon-ish, earning a number one contender spot the way they played. I guess last night, technically, 2 days ago when you're watching this, they did very well. I think it's hilarious watching Zephyr Tipflaus manage. Right.
That was so funny.
I'm curious if he's just there to do the character and they don't really have a manager, or if they're being managed by him separately outside of the character, if that makes sense.
Or if Jillian Marie is managing Zaflirt and Flaus, who is managing
to manage the
ruling class. Because
And
now that
anything's
now that we just press shuffle on how the faction stuff works again, like you can have bit managers again. Like you can have the whole idea that like, oh, I'm not actually like this isn't even actually a faction. This is just a bit.
Right. Yeah.
I
And,
love the
like,
chaos.
Yeah, it just feels so more open, and like we could see any match anytime, right? Like,
Yep.
we could not have gotten this week's Friday Night Titans last season or 2 seasons ago.
Nope. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. I cannot disagree with you whatsoever.
Yeah, I also think, and I don't remember the name of their team, and I feel terrible.
Plot twist.
Plot twist. Thank you. It's neat, and I think they played well. They could use some work, but seeing the concept that people have talked about, actually, Koi tried it, right? We take an IG player, stick them with a very good singles player, and see if they can cover each other's weaknesses there.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked.
It did. I mean, again, like you're taking a new team, someone in Hannah who is kind of rusty just because like when his season ended last year was a little earlier than it was for Liz Shannon Miller. Also Brandon Hannah, this new character for him. I like funny, goofy Hannah. It's fun so far.
I like watching him not have to you can tell when it takes effort from a player to keep their character going during the match. I feel like when he was playing for Roxy, he was more focused on the match. He wasn't really doing a character anymore. And now he's found a way that he can be a character and have fun with it while also still playing.
I agree with you. Now, did you notice the joke of his name?
No.
His new nickname?
He's the Hornet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he lost that match on the Green Hornet question because he didn't think Green Hornet qualified as an IG movie.
I forgot about that.
The moment he said he's no longer the Hitman, he's the Hornet. I saw the mask he was wearing with the hat. I fucking cackled. Like again, like you said, this brand new Brandon Hannah, where he's building his new brand off of making jokes about the way he infamously lost the match. Nothing screams brand new and fresh more than that.
Now let him stay this way for more than 2 matches, please, Christian. I'm begging you. I just want him to be able to play and not have to worry about his character changing again. Please.
That's fair. Travis, what are your thoughts on the artist formerly known as Big Time Ethan Irwin being the artist formerly known as Ethan Big Time Irwin.
He plays like he's always played. He's clearly right now doing the I'm just gonna put the character kind of on the back burner during the game because he never really did a character before that maybe he did before I started watching the Schmodown.
I mean, his character has always been like, I know I'm damn good. I'm here to whoop some ass, and I like that. That's a character that's very easy to translate into a heel. That is a character that you can very easily metamorphosize. I kick ass, and I know I kick ass into I kick ass, and I deserve to kick your ass.
And it's not too much where you can tell he knows he doesn't have to play it up during the match.
He literally just has to put on a suit and let Roxy and Chandru just be,
Talk
tackling
behind
hyenas
him
next to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Where his gameplay doesn't need to change. He gets to still focus on his answers and what he's doing. And then he gets to have a little fun in the promo. And that's the only thing that's changed for him. I think this is a neat opportunity for him.
Yeah.
That he gets to do this. And he will continue to be just the looming threat of Ethan Irwin could take your belt at any moment at all times.
Yeah.
In the same way that Dan Murrell is also a looming threat that could take your belt at any time. Like, they just kind of always exist.
They do. The odds of Mr. Irwin robbing you of your belt are
low, but
not
never zero.
Low. They're low, but never zero.
They're medium, but definitely sometimes low, but definitely never zero.
Definitely never zero. How do I put this? I don't want this to sound patronizing. I loved seeing Janine play with what seemed like a newfound confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was just so. I had so much fun watching her play, even though she didn't pull down the W.
I get to root for her now.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't before, but
but we're now that we're getting there. We're getting there. There was something really fun. Like, she just, I don't know. Maybe it's because the digital age, made it hard to kind of see how people were feeling in the zone they were in. But like, it feels like Janine kind of has like a weight lifted off of her after the Titanic run she went on last season.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so much fun to watch her play this match, even if she wasn't able to finish Ethan off. Also, as you were alluding to, she's now a member of the Dungeon. And we have Nikki DiMolanta, Janine the Machine, obviously Smets. Is that all we have so far?
I believe so. I don't think they still have Mara.
I don't think they do either. And I think Dan's just a free agent right now, or he's going to turn up on somebody's fucking faction, and that's going to be wild. Like I said, let Dan just be this free agent, like almost
Dan
Galactus figure.
Yeah. Dan could be the free agent always looming for the belt. He could also join the fan favorites.
Yo!
He's worked with Adam already.
Yo!
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker.
That's a great one.
He doesn't need a partner for teams, right?
Nope, fuck that.
Alan's 18 and Paul Preston, and they could very easily be a powerhouse team. They have Robert.
And you can also
and
scramble it. Like, that's true, dude. That's genius. And like I said, like, you can also scramble it. Like, look at the Quirky Mercs. The Quirky Mercs are doing the same thing that Corruption can do if they bring back Adam Witt. Like, you can have the whole. Yeah, I have three people, or I have two players who play in three divisions, a Star Wars player, and then two people who play in two divisions.
And just at any time, I can put anyone anywhere I want Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's
Like you
and
could,
even
like,
Robert
and the
has
Mercs are
talked
starting
about
to do that with Plot Twist.
yeah.
Like you already have fucking Shazam. You have these two other great, singles / IG / teams players. Put them
Mhm.
together.
Does do the Mercs also have what's his name?
Andrew DeMolanta.
No. Do they still have Andrew Demolanta? Because that would be 5.
I
The Jackal. Jesse
think
Swift?
no, Jesse left.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
because right now their IG player is Hannah.
Brandon. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure. But yeah, because the other thing too, Parker has talked about there was a little bit before everything happened last season. They had to commit to digital last season and they weren't sure how the matches were going to go. That Robert could spec into teams, doing the IG player and a singles player team up and cover each other's weaknesses, especially now that IG is so broad.
Yeah.
It's not undoable, especially when Dan was talking about getting into IG last season. It never really happened because, can't do crazy stuff like that.
The digital seasons were the digital seasons and were really hard to maneuver. Yeah.
Man, fan favorites.
Fan favorites has a chance to do some shit. Man, listen, I know I have my biases, but I am so excited to see Corruption play anything, like anyone from Corruption. Like,
Yeah,
because
that
I
is
just want to
true.
see their plotline stuff. I just want to see what their plotline stuff is. I want to see who their 5th member is going to be. Are they going to bring back Adam Witt? Are they going to have a crazy signer?
You mean Adam
Bro,
Collins?
yeah, thank you. Maybe I'll walk. No, Alex Jones. There was no reason for Jones on that one. Let's say Collins comes back. That could be a fun little thing, dude. That moment where everyone's trying to sign Ethan Irwin, that moment where Shannon walked up to him, I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" I was like, "Oh, this isn't even fair. This isn't fair. This is so unfair. Like you are looking at 4 belts in the one faction with that potentiality." I got so stoked for that in that moment. Obviously he's with a lesser manager than
I'll even
the
agree
Queen
with
of
you on that
Corruption.
one.
Than the Queen of Corruption. I know, again, if you're new here, my loyalties are no secret to anyone. Ride or die, as always, for Corruption. But, oh, dude, there's going to be some good shit. They started to tease it last year. I don't want to see Chance go to another faction at all. But, like, the amount of times they kind of circled the waters of Chance going rogue, and Chance doing the whole I'm tired of carrying the weight of the faction on my back. And if they did that, that would be such a good, it's like poetry, it rhymes, of Mike Kalinowski's heel turn.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that be about a bitch? Wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't that be some shit? To see Chance basically turn heel the same way Mike did all the way back in Anarchy.
Make them do the ultimate Schmodown gauntlet where they each pick a teammate and then they have to play a singles and intergeekdom in a teams match back to back to back, best 2 out of 3.
And in the tiebreaker, you do Star Wars, kid. Yeah, no, I'm super excited to see everybody we haven't seen yet. Obviously, Star Wars is the one I'm most excited for. And here's another cool thing. Because of the way that the season's going to work these days, and because of where he lives, Dan Murrell is about to become rare to see again. And that excites me too. Not that I don't like watching Dan play, but the fact that, like, when Dan Murrell shows up, it's like, oh shit, Murrell's here. Kind of the same way that, like, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on the mind currently, it's like I'm realizing how excited I am for this show, in part because of the Vader stuff, because they've only shown Vader in, like, with the exception of Battlefront, where he's kind of expected to be there, in like mainline stuff, like stuff that ends up on a screen. One movie, one show, one game. Like, they know to play it close to the I'm not counting Clone Wars, but that was like a cameo and Anakin's already in the show. But like, you see what I mean? Like, it's that, like, we know shit gets real when the guy shows up.
Yeah.
So, man, this is going to be a wild season. And speaking of which, next week's Friday Night Titans that we will cover the week after. Sam Levine is back. Travis, I am so excited for you. I am so excited for you right now that you get to see this man throw some ass in the ring.
I've never seen Sam play. Like, it just occurred to me that I got in right after he retired, and of course then he comes in as a manager, one of the better managers because he's played, right?
Yep.
Is he okay? So I have questions because I didn't listen to Rundown. I know he was on Rundown to talk about.
I didn't have a chance to listen to the rundown that came out today either. So
Do we know who he's playing?
Barbarian.
Okay, I did not know if that was lined up yet.
Yeah, that's what gets announced in the cutscene at the end of this week's Friday Night Titans. Like, that's what Christian and Gucci are talking about at the beginning, and then at the end of Titans, they announce it from the desk.
That's why I missed it, because I was basically unconscious by that point. Got it. It was 5 a.m. in my defense, but
completely understandable.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping it was going to be great because, like, obviously, I had a feeling when he was talking to him, I'm like, this is a number 1 contender shot for Sam Levine. I was kind of hoping it was going to be Griffey Nooms. I understand why it's not Griffey Nooms.
Yep.
And the Barbarian also deserves his shot. He really, he showed his ass last season. He proved himself. He deserves this. Is Sam being managed by anyone?
I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know how I feel about having too many heavy hitters who are unmanaged. But we'll see. We'll certainly see.
I definitely think he is one of the, because, like, obviously he said he doesn't want to manage, so he can't be managing himself. From a technicality perspective.
Yeah.
But I could very easily see him being, why would I have a manager when I was one of the best managers last season? Like, I know how this works. I don't need anybody else. If I'm going to call a challenge, I'll call a challenge. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Also, real quick, what I'm just going to call character portrait for the Barbarian. I'm a fan.
It is the most Finstock Exchange picture I've ever seen in my life.
And that is just fucking Sam. This is going to be a hell of a season, my friend. And we should, as a wise man once said, buckle the fuck up. But yeah, I think that's all we got for you guys. Thank you to our 10. I got to pull up the name because I don't remember Paco's whole thing. And I know I'm not saying the whole thing. And I made clear the other night on air. No hard feelings. It was very funny, Paco. I just do not want to court the YouTube gods. Thank you to our $10 alumnus. I don't know why I'm doing this at the beginning and not doing the full ad read. It's because I want to make sure I don't forget to thank the patrons. Travis, where can the lovely people find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Travis Political. I don't have a funny, also real world thing I'm doing right now because I'm not really doing anything right now. Jarod.
Yep.
Where?
You should be going to bed soon. At Dark Jedi 2552, and you can find the Nerd Academy podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on our website www.nerdacademypodcast.com, where if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon. Where's the guy?
Give me $1.
Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Alex Jones's Globalist Reptilian QAnon Horse Ivermectin, Delta Niner, and Nick Johnson. Speaking of Nick, you can go check out their appearance on our show. Our review for The Batman is out, previously recorded as a live stream, both on audio and video. Our trailer talk for the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer is out. We are going to be doing a normal TNAP this week that will come out on Tuesday. That'll be like a news roundup like we normally do. And then the following week's TNAP to close out Bat Month will be a cool episode Travis Alden Diaz from Octo Radio and I are doing about the philosophy of the Caped Crusader, which I am very excited to talk about. I have a lot of feelings about that circle around the Batman. Am talking about it's going to be mostly talking about like the live action on screen depictions of Bruce. We will be talking about the comics and the games and then the shows and everything. But with a focus on the movies, will be the driving force of that episode. I'm so excited to do it. Knights of the New Republic, keeping our ears to the ground for all things Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi is on the horizon. Star Wars Celebration is on the horizon, and if I can make it work, I won't be at Star Wars Celebration, but you know where I will be. I will be in here live streaming, hopefully, throughout Star Wars Celebration. So hopefully you can make the Nerd Academy your one-stop spot for keeping up with the doings and goings on of Star Wars Celebrations. And some of our friends who will be at Anaheim will be calling in to keep us up to date. So yeah, it's going to be a big old bombad skywalking through the league, Octo Radio, all remaining systems clusterfuck of a crossover. So stick around for that. When Travis and I are able to and have the time, hopefully for Bat Month, we're able to get Batman Hush Heroic History 101 out. We're going to try. And also hopefully the KNR Versus Series live stream will happen sooner rather than later once we get some of the Bat Month stuff ironed out. We also have for our $10 patrons early access to TNAP Movie Club. $5 tier, you get the audio commentaries. $10 tier, you get the episodes several days up to a week early. It's been like 10 days early for the Dark Knight episode. So if you would like to subscribe to the $10 tier to get early access to our episode of Movie Club going over the Dark Knight, it's the Dark Knight trilogy for Batman month. So our final episode of that will be The Dark Knight Rises, obviously. And then we will be on to So Bad It's Good month for April. So yeah, thank you all so very much for watching and listening. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, rate, review, do all the things. Thank you also very much for joining us. And smash cancer.
Stop! Move away from the